follow other people's lead. It's probably a good time for a summation video. Um, I've tried to explain that this we're here together. We're stuck in this together, and there's no real escape. I mean, we can live our own lives and try to be happy and leave it at that and say that's all I need to do. But I think if you really think about it, if you use intelligence, you first figure out that there's a lot of other beings of equal meaning to yourself who are also in need, and that it wouldn't hurt to, if you're trying to be as productive as possible in your own life, to try anyway to find a way to balance how much you devote to yourself, or how much you get involved in yourself, and how much you get involved in the world you live in and the people you live with and that share this adventure with you. And that maybe there's some things you really don't need that much if you really think about it. Some things that might just be stupid addictions or stupid distractions, stupid obsessions, that you're investing too much in something that has very little return, where if you devote a little time to thinking about maybe just giving away some of your time to someone else or some other cause, that you might be able to do some real productive work in terms of helping to prevent somebody else's suffering, or at least reduce it. But beyond that, I've also tried to convey that if you do live, that's a choice thing. I mean, I'm not saying there should be any law that you have to be efficient or productive. I'm just suggesting it's a better way to live. I mean, if you're going to be here, you might as well make the most of it and be as productive as you can. And then even beyond that, even if you just live to be happy, you have to recognize that there's another consequence of this equality thing, of this idea that the rest of these organisms walking around are just as unique and just as passionate and just as caught up in stuff as you are. And if you really look at their lives and you say to yourself, oh gee, I wouldn't want to be that person, that person's such a jerk, or I wouldn't want to be that, or I wouldn't want to have to live that life, or I wouldn't want to go through what that person went through. I mean, if you understand that concept, you understand that escaping with your life, so to speak, escaping with your happiness, is really not escaping, because guess what, the world will be here tomorrow, and as a practical matter, you're going to be here. I mean, you have a different name and a different identity, but it's still it's still you in a sense. It's still this vulnerable human being, and that has flaws and faults and has things to overcome and has pain, and I mean, it's all those things. It's all there, and maybe even more than you've ever experienced. Maybe you don't even know how horror is. But regardless, that's the vulnerability that extends beyond our own lives. I mean, we can't, getting out of this game with money in your pocket is you're not out of the game, because the game's still going to be played. You're still going to be dragged back into it. You don't go to some place where you're immune to the idiots on earth, where you're immune to whatever's going on. We're never free of it. So I mean, as intellectual beings, if you're going to recognize that fact, then you're going to say, well shit, I got to fix this. Because if I'm going to remain vulnerable to what societies do and what people do and what all this goes on over here and what goes on, I mean, if I'm going to remain vulnerable, if I can't really escape, then I've got to do something to try to fix that. And so I guess that's the next step in this progression of videos would be trying to find solutions, fixes for the bugs in our social system, for the flaws in it, the things that make it less efficient than it needs to be. Let's put it that way. I mean, obviously I would like us to try or strive for some sort of perfection, but if we can just get rid of the real bad stuff, the real broken parts, that would be something. At least we'd be moving in the right direction. We'd have some hope, some purpose. I mean, obviously, speaking to 100 people, I'm not, accomplishing much. And I don't know exactly. That's sort of why I'm making the video, is that I'm sort of appealing to you, anyone, any good suggestion. I mean, how do you change society? How do we do this thing? How do we, it doesn't seem like this is all that complicated. I mean, we really should be able to persuade humanity, and they should be able to see their own interest in it. I mean, the lying and the cheating and the stealing and all the bullshit that goes on. I mean, we really should be able to say, no, this isn't the way we really want to live. And that, there's some obvious social policies that just don't make any sense at all. And you say, well, they still exist. And so where are those of us who understand that it doesn't make any sense, we're failing. We're dropping the ball. We're not doing what we need to do to make change happen. And I mean, you could take just one issue. I mean, I'm going to have lots of ideas. That's what I do. I like ideas. I like having them bounced around and picked apart and see if we can accomplish something. But it's going to take more than me. I mean, I'm not going to change the world. And and so, like I said, there's these ideas that are just so obvious. The idea that we would force people to die any more miserably than they want to is really such. I mean, that one's the real. It just makes your brain hurt, because you just look at that waste is just so obvious. I mean, why do we do that? Why do we do that? Why do we force people to spend 10 years in nursing homes not knowing who they are? I mean, we really do need to have some sort of contract with society, and where we spell out exactly what we're worried about, and that if XYZ happens, well then please, humanely put me out of my misery. I mean, if I don't know my name anymore and I don't know what planet I'm on, no, I don't want to be here then. Please do not perpetuate my existence under those circumstances. I mean, we really should be able to make that deal with society, that it's not going to sit there and vegetated state us and do all this other stuff to us that we have no interest in having done to us, that it's abhorrent to everything we believe in. And but this is where we come down to religion again, because religion's the real obstacle. The Pope and the rest of them deciding what is life and what isn't life and what it means, and telling everybody else you're going to live by that rule, and they don't have any apprehension about defining it for us. And I don't know why this thing. Okay, anyway, a couple minutes. So, and then there's other, those are like I said, there's some obvious things, and so obviously there's something we're really missing that we can't fix even those. And then I think there are some bigger ideas. I mean, there's social policies, there are political reforms and educational reforms and other reforms that could do, I think, incredible positive good. I mean, just the potential to elevate the humankind is right there and for us to grab it. It's like a miracle drug almost. I mean, it's just a little fix and it can make a huge difference in terms of the reality we live in. And but like I said, I guess we first have to get over the obstacle of this closed mind that we're trying to engage, that's running society. This closed mind that's just glued to a tradition, glued to words, glued to their meaning, just can't, won't allow anything to bend anywhere. You won't even have this conversation, without, you suggest something that's a little bit different, you're Adolf Hitler. You're Stalin. They just pigeonhole any idea and turn it into crap, by association. And but that's really what we've got to work on. I mean, I like that I'm a better person. I like that I've matured into a human being that can give freely without worrying about my return. But we got to do more than